Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This saying has lasted through the years. There is a calm power in those words, a reminder that you don't have to respond to every insult, confront every betrayal, or tell the truth to every liar. Most individuals never learn how to utilize silence well, but it may be a kind of strength. People are quick to respond and even quicker to post about it these days, so quiet feels strange. But there are certain times in life when not saying anything is the smartest and strongest thing you can do. The Stoics knew this. They believed in the discipline of restraint, the wisdom of self-control, and the fact that justice always finds its way, whether it be through people or nature. This isn't about being lazy. This is about getting your calm back, maintaining your dignity, and knowing that karma and nature itself has a longer memory than any grudge. Let's talk about the 7 times in life when you should not say a word, and let karma take care of the rest. Number 1. When someone betrays your trust. Legend has it that Epictetus once stated, "It is not what happens to you that matters. What matters is how you react to it." When it comes to human experiences, betrayal, particularly genuine betrayal, is among the most shocking. It is not just painful, it also causes instability. Your judgment, your kindness, and even your sense of self-worth have all been called into question as a result. Perhaps it was a friend who broke the confidentiality of a conversation and made it public knowledge. Perhaps a member of your family took advantage of your vulnerability and exploited it against you. Alternatively, it could be someone you loved profoundly, someone who made a pledge of loyalty but turned their back on you at the exact moment when it was expedient for them to do so. Almost time, the initial reaction is the same. You should protect yourself, you should retaliate, and you should confront them with every word that you have concealed deep within your chest. Your chest tightens as a result of a combination of anger and melancholy. You want them to experience the same pain that they caused you. You would like for them to comprehend. Silence, however? Silence communicates at frequencies that even the loudest voice will never be able to reach. It is not a sign of weakness to escape without a fight. Indeed, it is a proclamation. The message that you are conveying is that you are no longer worth the weight of my words. Through your actions, you are demonstrating that your peace is not open to negotiation, that they never had the authority to determine the value of you. It is not about allowing them to triumph. Rather, it is about choosing to be silent rather than to join in the turmoil. Because someone who betrays you has already demonstrated the nature of their character, it is important to remember this. It is not necessary for you to remove the mask once it has fallen, because they have already revealed their face. The words of Seneca serve to remind us that he who does wrong as against himself. Wait for that to set in. Whenever someone breaks your confidence, they cause harm to themselves that is significantly more profound than the harm they have ever caused to you. It is possible that they will not feel it right away, but time is a cruel adversary. They will carry the weight of their decisions with them for a very long time after you have separated from them. You have to understand that karma does not arrive with a big bang and a lot of thunder and lightning. Unobtrusively, she operates, much like erosion. Methodically, without fail, and with unwavering precision at all times. This is the moment that she waits for, when the person who betrayed her believes that they have gotten away with it. She then tells them in a gentle manner that every action plants a seed, and that treachery always results in bitter fruit. It is not necessary for you to argue. You are not required to provide evidence of your pain. In order to get others to support you, you do not need to organize a group. The revolution must begin with your silence. At this point, you begin to rewrite your own story and remove yourself from the narrative of the author. Allow them to speculate as to why you chose not to fight. The area that you leave behind should be left for others to sit in, mostly due to the fact that the absence of your presence, your commitment, your attention, and your spirit is sufficient punishment. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury, Marcus Aurelius said, capturing this idea flawlessly. Be different from them then. Stay firmly planted. Keep your cool. Keep your silence. Is there anything that you could possibly say that karma won't express louder, clearer, and more precisely when the moment is right? Ask yourself this question whenever you feel the impulse to break that quiet. It is not enough for you to simply be silent. You are also silent. This marks the commencement of the legal system. The most potent component. What is it? There is no need for you to carry out even a single action. Number 2, when you're misunderstood on purpose. Being purposely misunderstood amounts to a particular form of severe treatment. There is no chance involved. There was no error made. In other words, it is a strategy. This is because people feel frightened by your reality, which includes your clarity, your composure, and your presence. To make you appear to be the one who is acting aggressively, they alter your words just enough. Selfishness is what they use to reinterpret your boundaries. Arrogance is what your quiet becomes. It is abandonment that your growth becomes. In addition to that, it does not end there. They relate their version of the story to anyone who will listen to them. A script that has been meticulously crafted in which they play the role of the victim and you play the role of the villain. In the beginning, it is an intolerable sensation. Your name is being dragged through the muck of the past. People are creating opinions based on false information. In addition, you have the need to yell out, "That is not what took place." You want to defend yourself, to correct the record, and to destroy their false narrative. You want to do all of these things. The Stoics, on the other hand, bring to our attention an essential point. Seneca once stated, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Because the thing that you are most concerned about at this very moment is not the lie itself, but rather the possibility that other people would believe it. But you should question yourself, if those people were so willing to embrace a falsehood, do you think they are worth your truth? The act of refusing to take part in the illusion that another person is creating has a great deal of power. It is a sign of authority when they lie and you do not pursue them, when they gossip and you do not respond to them, and when they play the game and you refuse to even turn there. This is an example of discipline. That exemplifies the Stoic resilience. An enduring reminder was provided by Marcus Aurelius, who stated, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change. On the other hand, if no one demonstrates it to me, then I will continue on my current path." That is the very definition of self-assurance. There is no need for you to waste your breath attempting to persuade the entire world that you are innocent. It is true that you are aware of it. You are firmly rooted in it. You are firmly rooted to it. Allow them to tell their story, but make sure you don't let it drag you into the maelstrom. And here's the catch. People who lie eventually forget the lies they've told themselves. Nevertheless, what is the reality? When it comes to truth, it never forgets. It is not affected by aging. It is not prone to erosion. The only thing it does is wait, without a sound, to be patient, up until the point where it is no longer a question. The concept of karma is quite amusing. When you want her to show up, she does not show up. She shows up when they are least expecting her to do so. As a result of the repercussions, I have lost respect for you. In the process of relationships that were built on dishonesty falling apart. In addition, when everything begins to fall apart, they will remember the one individual who did not speak up. The person who was never required to yell, accuse, or prove anything. That was you all along. Allow them to express themselves when you are intentionally being misunderstood. Permit them to wonder. Permit them to attempt to rewrite your novel. Don't hand over the pen to them anyhow. Do not move at all. Do not speak up. Since, in the end, falsehoods are only noise. But what about the truth? There is no need for the truth to explain itself because it arrives in quiet. Number 3. When you're being provoked publicly. Public provocations have a history that is both reprehensible and reprehensible. Those that lack depth may employ this tactic in order to generate noise, as it is a weapon for the weak. An attempt is made to ignite you in front of an audience by baiting you, cornering you with barbs disguised as jokes, and trying to ignite you. How come? They are able to gain control if they are able to provoke you. Take command of the situation. Authority over the narrative. You are in control. However, they are not using you as a puppet. It is not their stage that you are on. You were never intended to put on a show for people who are foolish. Instead of merely preaching calmness, Marcus Aurelius exemplified it in his own life. As the Emperor of Rome, he was constantly reminded of the following phrase: "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." He was surrounded by politics, betrayal, and public scrutiny for his actions. As a result, it is not your responsibility to respond in kind when someone makes fun of you in public or when they attempt to undermine your dignity through the use of slang and theatricality. Your mission is to be different from them. People who irritate you are frequently really insecure, but they will never reveal this truth to you. To hide their anxiety, they make use of noise. Because they are afraid of public confrontation, they prefer to do so in public settings. By hiding behind laughter, sarcasm, or passive-aggressive behavior, they are unable to confront you in silence, which is where the truth resides. A response from you is required, simply because you give them significance when you do so. They become someone who is worthy of being noticed. Then again, when you maintain your composure, keep silent, and they are brought to light by you, you expose them to light. There is a sudden shift in the focus away from you and toward their need. The teachings of Epictetus include the following: if someone speaks ill of you, live in such a way that no one will believe it. In the room, let your actions be the loudest voice that can be heard. Listen to the words of your dignity, mainly due to the fact that you do not have to defend your name to those who only know you through secret conversations. What's more, you don't have to put yourself down in order to win the approval of a public that has been educated to cheer during times of conflict. In the event that you have ever been publicly provoked, whether it was at school, at work, or even online, it is important to keep in mind that it takes more strength to walk away without uttering a single word than it does to shout 1,000 words. Being silent is not a sign of weakness. It is a matter of strategy. It is a sophisticated approach. The message conveys the idea that I am not available for your circus. And what about karma? Attendance is impeccable in her case. It was clear that she was present in the room. This is what she witnessed. The person who attempted to humiliate you is now forced to deal with the silence that you have left behind, while you are able to keep your dignity intact. It reverberates more loudly than any insult that they might give. Number 4. When they boast about hurting you. Those individuals who take pleasure in the suffering they have caused you are engaging in a particular form of cruel behavior. Your sorrow is transformed into a story that they recite for the purpose of amusement, and it is used as a weapon by them to elevate themselves. Irrespective of whether it is a friend making fun of your fragility, an ex boasting about how easily they replaced you, or a colleague celebrating how they ruined your efforts, what you are witnessing is not confidence. Putting on a mask is the act of cowardice. They want people to perceive them as powerful in the world. However, if you look attentively, it is not necessary for true power to express itself. There is always a deeper cause behind the impulse to gloat, whether it be remorse, uncertainty, or fear. They brag because deep down, they are aware that they have lost something valuable, which is their presence, your trust, and your allegiance. As a result of the fact that they are unable to regain it, they attempt to rewrite the narrative in such a way that they are just unapologetically honest or doing what they had to do. In contrast, the Stoics were able to recognize this kind of behavior. Marcus Aurelius issued a warning saying, "Do not waste any more time trying to argue about what a good man ought to be." The phrase, "be one," the person who boasts about causing pain, is still caught up in the middle of the debate. But you, on the other hand, are making your way toward calm and complete silence. Now, what is the difference? This utters a great deal. There is no need for you to respond. You are not required to elaborate on the extent of the pain. Providing evidence showing their account of events is false is not required of you. That is because when someone laughs at your sorrow, their own soul is already hurting, even if they have not yet experienced the effects of their actions. They are going to do it. The grins that people are wearing while someone else is breaking are not forgotten by karma. Every second is meticulously recorded by her. The words of Epictetus serve as a reminder to us. Keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Why do they feel the need to boast? They are responsible for that. They have lied. It is their toil. Are you getting better? That belongs to you. The moment you stop giving them your energy is the moment that it starts with you. It is not a retreat to use silence. This constitutes a refuse, an unwillingness to applaud cruel behavior. In other words, a reluctance to accept deception, an unwillingness to allow them to write the last chapter of the tale you have written. Just let them chat. Let them put up a show. Let them bask in the glory of their petty win. It is important to note, however, that this victory is only temporary, and the reverberation of their own words will be deafening when karma arrives to bring the scales back into balance. When someone brags about harming you, the most powerful thing you can do is to not give them a sequel. This is because they are trying to hurt you repeatedly. It is time for their story to come to an end where it started, with tiny brains trying to silence their own guilt by speaking loudly. What about you? You proceed without making any noise, with great power, with no disturbances. Number 5. When you're growing and they're envious. There is a peculiar mirror in growth. Not only does it reveal who you are getting to be, but it also reveals who other people are not willing to become. Pay special attention to the moment when you begin to make progress, when you begin to construct something out of your suffering, when you begin to level up your mindset, your body, and your work. A few individuals will applaud, but what about others? They are going to flinch. It's not because you've injured them. Rather, it's because your progress highlights the fact that they don't have. You will be able to hear it in the remarks that are passive-aggressive. "Oh, you're too strong for us at this point. There has been a change in you." You are very fortunate. No, the luck was not on your side. You did effort. Your battles with your demons took place while no one was looking. You deviated from the norm. You refused to give up comfort. In the face of distraction, you opted for discipline. But those who are jealous do not like to witness that, because they would be forced to confront their own inaction if they acknowledge the effort that you have put out. There was a saying attributed to Seneca that states, "No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity." That falsehood is home to those who are envious. They were of the opinion that success should come without any effort being required. They believed that this would be the safest course of action. But what about your development? Such an illusion was destroyed by it. However, rather than being motivated by your success, they feel resentment toward it. Therefore, what do? In communities that you are no longer a part of, they make you feel inferior. They give you a sneering look whenever your name is mentioned. "He's not that successful," they say, demeaning your accomplishments. "She believes that she's doing better now." However, here is something that they do not comprehend. Your response is silence, because everything you say would still be interpreted as arrogance that you have expressed. Therefore, you let your actions to speak for themselves. You allow your results to speak for themselves. You have allowed your progression to be the most prominent voice in the room. A ship should not ride on a single anchor, and life should not be based on a single hope, according to Epictetus's teachings. And the opinions of people who are envious of you do not serve as the foundation for your life. It is rooted in the discipline that you have, in the center of your attention. As a result of your refusal to apologize for making progress. It is not necessary to describe the way to others who are hesitant to take the initial step when you are actually on your journey. You do not owe them any of your own energy. Permitting them to observe in quiet is, in point of fact, the most effective action you can take. It is best to let them simmer with their resentment. Encourage them to experience the tension that comes from their own untapped potential. In addition, let karma demonstrate to them what happens when you water your own garden while they are too busy hurling stones at you instead. Mainly due to the fact that jealousy is a harm that one inflicts upon oneself. Consumes food from the inside out. What about you? There is no need for you to confront that. Reality will take care of it. All the time, life does. So it's a positive thing if your development has caused someone to feel uneasy. This indicates that you are becoming successful in some way. Proceed with your journey. Maintain your ascent. You should also keep in mind that the higher you go, the more silent your circle will get. But the louder your silence will reverberate in different rooms where your name is still being mentioned. Number 6. When you know the truth, but they're lying. There are few things that put your patience to the test quite like witnessing someone lie about you or about something you have experienced with bravado, flair, and a straight face. In order to maintain the spotlight on themselves and the blame on you, they rewrite reality, portray themselves as the victim, and twist events just enough to continue doing so. The worst aspect about it all? Occasionally, other people believe them. In certain cases, the audience cheers for the actor rather than the one who is being honest. Your natural inclination may be screaming, "Speak up, the record should be set straight." On the other hand, you are aware of the reality, and you are aware of the fact that liars do not care about clarity. They are concerned with dominance. The most powerful empire on earth, which was headed by Marcus Aurelius, was frequently subjected to betrayal, slander, and false allegations. If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change, he wrote. I'll gladly change for you. It's the truth that I'm looking for, and the truth has never caused anyone negative consequences. Something very fundamental is shown to us by this. The truth does not require volume. This does not require the use of a spotlight. It is not something that begs to be believed. Quite simply, it is. When you are dealing with someone who is dishonest, exposing them to the truth does not always result in a resolution. It triggers a further escalation. The lie, the twist, and the performance are repeated once more. You run the risk of being drawn into a never-ending game of defense when you pursue the truth in public, where your integrity is gradually eroded by the aggravation and cacophony that you experience. Put your voice down instead. There is no weakness in remaining silent. Restraint is the word. The problem is that you are not willing to get involved with them in the muck. Because slinging dirt may garner attention, but it never contributes to the development of peace. Additionally, you are guarding the tranquility that you have. Seneca cautioned us, saying, "Time is the discoverer of truth. Nothing needs to be forced upon you in any way." It is inevitable that the liar will ultimately contradict themselves. One day, their story will be revealed. The inconsistencies that they exhibit will be brought to light by their craving for attention. And when that occurs, you will be the one who have never spoken a word, who have never fueled the fire, and who have never provided them anything additional to twist. While you are still standing, you will remain calm, rooted, and unaffected. In the meantime, what about their house of lies? Trembling starts to occur in it. If someone speaks ill of you, rather than defending yourself, respond with your life. Epictetus has also been quoted as saying, "If you live your life so beautifully, so honestly, and so firmly, then no falsehood will ever be able to stick." People are finally able to see. Eventually, they discover who managed to maintain their composure and who was responsible for the turmoil. Therefore, if you are now refusing to acknowledge a truth that other people are denying, you should do so in silence. If you want to convince the world of something that it will eventually see on its own, you shouldn't waste your efforts attempting to convince it. The skill of deception is something that should not be entrusted to someone who has perfected it. Truth cannot be rushed. Furthermore, karma is immutable. Allow them to present their view. Allow them to benefit from the echo chamber. However, keep in mind that storms are on their way, and homes constructed on the foundation of lies, their existence is short-lived. Number 7. When someone tries to diminish your worth. When someone is misjudged, there's a subtle violence that occurs. When you are told that your aspirations are too big, your objectives are too ambitious, and your confidence is misplaced, you are considered to be lacking. Certain individuals do not insult you by making overt attacks. Rather, they do so by remaining silent, using sarcasm, or providing backhanded compliments. When they see your growth, they roll their eyes, they doubt your decisions, and they laugh at your sense of ambition. How come? Mostly due to the fact that your existence poses a challenge to the ease of their mediocrity. Epictetus provided us with a reminder saying, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This is not merely a quote, it is a piece of armor. Because when you have a deep understanding of who you are, when you have put in the effort to heal, create, fail, and rise again, you do not need to beg for affirmation. You are the validation. There will always be individuals who want to minimize you so that they can fit you into their comfort zone. Because they are unable to compete with your efforts, they will minimize them. They will make an effort to define your bounds, based on the restrictions that they have. However, it is the perspective they hold. The lens through which they view the world is colored by feelings of fear, jealousy, and insecurity. According to a quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, "The opinion of others is not your concern." Remember to keep your attention on your own actions. When someone questions your worth, you should not defend yourself. Stay away from retaliation. Just try to keep in mind who you are. You are the master of silence, for the reason that your silence is not void, rather it is a reflection. A mirror that reflects their own inadequacies, their own reservations about themselves, and their own inability to progress. There is nothing that is more distressing to someone with a narrow mindset than being forced to confront their own inadequacy while you are in the company of your composure. You shouldn't strive to prove how large you are when someone is trying to make you feel like you're not even that huge. Simply put, be a huge person. It is your actions that speak. Your self-control, your work ethic, and your character should be able to stand taller than any insult that they could possibly throw at you. Seneca imparted the wisdom that no man is more miserable than he who never encounters adversity, because it is not possible for him to demonstrate his worth. Therefore, when other people try to minimize your value, you should view it as a sign that you are doing something that deserves to be noticed. To be resisted, indeed. Justifiable in terror. Is that karma? Additionally, karma observes in silence. She discovers those who made fun of your origins, those who attempted to stifle your growth, and those who murmured that you were not sufficient. She will, at some point in the future, provide them with front-row tickets to your breakthrough. Allow them to remain silent for a while. Allow them to recall how loudly they questioned your abilities before the entire world applauded. If you want to be heard, you don't have to yell. It is not necessary to engage in conflict in order to be noticed. All that is required of you is to continue walking. Be at ease. The focus is on, completely unmoved. Because when someone makes an effort to demean your value, that is a manifestation of their own lack of strength. The lack of sound? That demonstrates your ability to respond. According to Stoic philosophy, we are only able to regulate our own answers. We cannot control the acts of other people. To add insult to injury, there are occasions when the most effective response is none at all. Surrendering is not synonymous with silence. Not only does it need strength and discipline, but it also involves having an unwavering faith that justice, the real kind, is already in action. Your assistance is not required for karma. This woman does not require your voice. That is all she requires is your patience. And after you have mastered the art of stillness, you will be able to help her work without interruption. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your feet on the ground. And when the time is right, you should observe how everything plays out precisely as it is designed to.